Welcome back to my channel Celeb Buzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Why Ron Howard still won't watch this one TV show episode. He made it in 1960. Ron Howard was born Ronald William Howard on March 1st, 1954 in Duncan, Oklahoma. He was basically meant to be in movies. His parents were already working in acting and making stories. His dad, Rance Howard, was an actor and writer, and his mom, Jean Spiegel Howard, was also an actress. Their help and creative ideas played a big part in helping Ron love the arts when he was little. Ron Howard first won over American TV watchers as a kid actor in the early 1960s with his big role as Opie Taylor on the famous TV comedy show, The Andy Griffith Show. Starting when he was just 6 years old, Howard had a natural, sweet way of acting that people really loved. His playing of Opie, the good, curious, and kind-hearted son of Sheriff Andy Taylor, became something really special in American TV. For 8 seasons on the show, Howard's acting helped create a time-off family-friendly TV shows and started his lifelong connection with being honest and good on screen. His next big TV success came in the 1970s, when he played Dreechy Cunningham in the really popular show Happy Days, as the perfect American teenager growing up in the 1950s, early 1960s. Howard once again showed his amazing ability to play characters that people could relate to. Happy Days was a show that defined its time, and Howard's character was like off-heart and feelings of the show. Even with all the glamour of Hollywood and getting more famous, Howard stayed humble and down-to-earth, earning love from his co-workers and fans. But Ron Howard's career didn't stop with acting. In one of the most amazing changes in entertainment history, he switched from being in front of the camera to become a ninja master storyteller behind it. Because I wanted to create and shape stories from a director's point of view, Howard left Happy Days in the early 1980s Tomac movies. This brave career change could have meant he'd be forgotten by some people, but for Howard, it was the start of an even more amazing chapter. As a movie director, Ron Howard quickly backed him, known as someone with great ideas who could handle different types soft movies with care, smarts, and great skill. His early directing work, like Splash, 1984, a romantic comedy fantasy starring Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, got great reviews and made lots of money. The movie showed Howard's talent for mixing heartwarming storytelling with humor and new ideas, a recipe that would beckon what he was known for. Over the years, he kept building an amazing collection of films, including Cocoon, 1985, Willow, 1988, and Parenthood, 1989. Each one showed his ability to do different things and his deep understanding of how people relate to each other. In 1995, he directed the exciting space drama Apollo 13, a film that got 9 Academy Award nominations and made him one of Hollywood's top directors. His careful attention to details, combined with a deep respect for all life heroes, made Apollo 13 a landmark film of its type. Ron Howard reached the top of critical praise with his 2001 film A Beautiful Mind, a biographical drama based on the life of Nobel Prize-winning mathematician John Nash. The film won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Howard. It was his greatest achievement that honored not just his skill as a filmmaker, but also his ability to handle tough subject matter with grace, kindness, and clarity. He continued this success with works like Cinderella Man, Frost Nixon, Rush, and Hillbilly Elegy, always choosing stories that focused in deep characters and emotional truth. Besides his directing achievements, Howard has also found huge success as a producer. Through Imagine Entertainment, the production company he started with Brian Grasser, he has helped with create many praised films and TV shows. Under their leadership, Imagine has become a major force in Hollywood, producing works like 24, Arrested Development, and Friday Night Lights. Howard's contributions to storytelling have gone far beyond his own directing work, influencing the bigger culture and making the industry's standards better. In 2006, Ron Howard took an challenging job of director for the mystery thriller film The Da Vinci Code, movie version of the real popular and controversial novel by Dan Brown. The novel itself had become a worldwide hit, starting intense discussions Because of its provocative story about religious history and secret societies, Howard's job was really hard. Not unlidded, he needed to bring the complex, potent, detailed characters to life on the big screen. But he also faced big public and institutional pushback. Most notably, the Roman Catholic Church strongly objected to the film's misinterpretation of Christian history, condemning it for its portrayal of church secrets and questioning established beliefs. Despite the backlash and the heated debates swirling around its release, the Da Vinci Code succeeded in capturing the curiosity of audiences around the world. The film did really well at the box office, making hundreds of millions of dollars worldwide, which proved Howard's skill in balancing a controversial storyline with mainstream appeal. The film also strengthened his reputation as a director capable of handling complex narratives with both commercial and critical success. Fast forward to 2015, Ron Howard continued to show his versatility by producing and directing the adventure drama film In the Heart of the Sea. This movie was inspired by the real-life sea disaster written about in Nathaniel Philbrick's book of the same name, telling scary 1820 sinking of the whale ship Essex by a giant sperm whale. This tragic event would later inspire Herman Melville's classic novel, Moby Dick. Howard's version emphasized the human spirit, survival, and the ongoing struggle against nature's unforgiving forces. With a strong cast, including Chris Hemsworth, the film combined breathtaking visuals with emotional depth, showing the crew's desperate fight to survive in the open sea. Though it didn't achieve the same blockbuster success as some of Howard's previous works, the movie was praised for its craftsmanship, authentic period detail, and compelling storytelling, further solidifying Howard's reputation for directing historically inspired films with heart and intensity. The very next year, in 2016, Howard returned to the thriller genre by directing Inferno, the third movie in the film adaptations of Don Brown's novels. This movie served as a sequel to The Da Vinci Code and Angels, Demons, once again featuring Tom Hanks as the symbologist Trabert Langdon. Inferno took viewers in a high-stakes global adventure, blending historical puzzles, art, and modern technology in classic Dan Brown style. Howard's direction helped maintain the tension and pace necessary for a successful thriller, all while expanding the narrative universe established in the previous films. Although Inferno received mixed reviews from critics, it performed well enough commercialito demonstrate Howard's sustained ability to attract audiences with intelligent, fast-paced storytelling linked to popular book franchises. In 2018, Ron Howard embraced a new challenge by directing Solo, a Star Wars story, a major movie within the famous Star Wars franchise. This film explored the backstory of one of the most beloved characters in pop culture, Han Solo. Howard stepped in to complete the film after original directors Bill Lord and Christopher Miller were replaced during production due to creative differences. Solo starred Alden Ehrenreich in the main role, supported by a strong ensemble cast, including Woody Harrelson, Emilia Clarke, Donald Glover, and Paul Bettany. The movie looked into Han Solo's early years, his first meetings with the Millennium Falcon, his pride and surgence of his relationships with characters like Chewbacca and Lando Calrissian. Kudahowski in blending action, humor, and character-driven storytelling to fit Star Wars universe's tone and style while offering fans a fresh look at a familiar hero's journey. Despite facing stiff competition and mixed reactions from audiences and critics, Zala showed Howard's ability to manage large-scale blockbuster productions within well-established franchises, adding yet another dimension to his already impressive and diverse directing career. On June 7, 1975, Ron Howard married Cheryl Alley, a talented writer, and his high school's sweetheart. Their lasting marriage has lasted decades, a remarkable thing in the often crazy world of Hollywood. Over the years, they built a life based on mutual respect, creativity, and deep family values. Cheryl, known for her work as an author and for supporting her husband's movie work behind the scenes, has played a big role in Ron's personal and professional stability. The couple chose to make their home in the luxurious and star-filled community of Beverly Hills, California. It's a place that has served as a peaceful retreat amid the demands of a busy entertainment career. Together, Ron and Cheryl Howard have raised 4 children, each of whom carries a name with a story behind it. It's quite literally, in a fun and heartfelt tradition. The Howards decided to name each child after a location where they were conceived, adding a deeply personal and memorable touch to their family history. Their firstborn child, a daughter, was named Bryce Dallas Howard. She was conceived in the vibrant and sprawling city of Dallas, Texas, a place that left such an impression on the couple that they chose it as part of her name. Bryce would go on to carve out her own successful path in Hollywood as an acclaimed actress and director, starring in films such as The Village, Jurassic World, and Rocketman. She is known not only for her striking performances, but also for continuing her father's legacy as Sia of thoughtful, character-driven storytelling. Next came Paige Carol Howard and Jocelyn Carol Howard, fraternal twin daughters born during a particularly mobile moment in the couple's life. The twins were conceived while Ron and Cheryl were staying at the elegant and historic Hotel Carla Laley in New York City. To honor that special place, they chose Carol as the middle name for both girls, a shared bond linking them together beyond their twinship. The decision to highlight the Carol Hotel, a symbol of sophistication and New York charm, shows the Howards' appreciation for meaningful experiences and romantic symbolism. Paige has pursued acting as well, appearing in theater and television, while Jocelyn has mostly maintained a life out of the public eye. Their youngest child, a son named Reed Cross Howard, was given a name with a different but equally meaningful geographical twist. He was conceived near a specific road called Crossroad, which left an imprint in his parents' memory. The name Reed adds a traditional and musical tone, while Cross offers a poetic and symbolic note to the notion of paths converging. It's a subtle metaphor for the unity of family and destiny. Reed chose a life largely away from the Hollywood spotlight, becoming a professional golfer and pursuing his passions in sports rather than film. Together, the Howard family has built a life marked by love, individuality, and creativity. Each child, growing up in an environment that balanced privacy with inspiration. Ron and Cheryl's unusual yet heartfelt naming tradition reveals the deeper personal significance they attached to milestones in their journey, a reflection of their enduring romance and their genuine appreciation for the moments that shape a family's legacy. Although Ron Howard has enjoyed one of the most lasting and respected careers in Hollywood, ranging from his beloved role as Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show to highly acclaimed work as an Academy Award-winning director, there remains one particular moment from his early television day stuff he refuses to revisit, no matter how often fans or colleagues bring it up. The episode in question is Opie and the Spoiled Kid, a touching episode of The Andy Griffith Show that originally aired during the show's first season in 1960 to this day. Howard has admitted in interviews and private conversations yet he simply cannot bring himself to watch the episode as it triggers a flood of difficult emotions tied to both the content of the story and his own personal experience. As a young child actor dealing with the pressures of early fame, and Opie and the Spoiled Kid, Ron Howard, at just 6 years old, was required to show his character in a complex moral situation where Opie confronts another child who behaves rudely and disrespectfully toward his own father. The spoiled child, Arnold Winkler, gets of everything he wants, talks back to his dad, and undermines authority, something Sheriff Andy Taylor doesn't tolerate. The episode, while praised for its wholesome and moralistic tone, required young Ron Howard to express a broader emotional range than most children his age might be comfortable with. According to Howard, the difficulty wasn't just in delivering lines or blocking scenes. It was the emotional pressure after nailing, frustration, disappointment, and subtle judgment, all while trying to hit the comedic beats that the show was known for. Adding to the complexity was the behind-the-scenes atmosphere during the filming. Howard has confessed during production of this particular episode he was battling intense nervous and performance anxiety. He recalls a specific moment in rehearsal when he broke down in tears because he couldn't remember his lines. Despite Andy Griffith's kindness and calming nature, Ron felt embarrassed, believing he had let down the crew and messed up the schedule. This internalized sense of failure haunted him long after the cameras stopped rolling. While the finished product appeared seamless to audiences, Howard says that all he can remember about that week was the note in his stomach and the overwhelming fear of being recast or ridiculed. For a child so eager to please, The surly encounter with self-doubt left a lasting psychological scar. Over the years, Howard has reflected on this moment not as a simple case of stage fright, but as a symbolic turning point in his understanding of the cost of child stardom. Though he remained deeply committed to acting throughout the experience. On that episode planted early seeds of doubt about whether a life in front of the camera was truly where he belonged. This may help explain why later in life Ho gradually shifted toward directing and producing, professions that allowed him more control over the creative process without the vulnerability of being on screen, even as he matured and developed into one of the most competent and calm figures in Hollywood. The memory of that specific shoot continued to evoke feelings of helplessness and discomfort, prompting him to avoid the episode altogether. Furthermore, Howard Hayes stated that watching the episode would feel like reopening an old wound. For him, it's not about critiquing his childhood performance or reevaluating the artistic merit of the scene. It's about preserving emotional boundaries. He has often mentioned that he holds a great reverence for the Andy Griffith Show and everything it taught him, both as an actor and as a person. But with that respect also comes a desire to protect certain memories, both joyful and painful, from being distorted by hindsight. For Ron, watching Opie and the Spoiled Kid would mean revisiting a version of himself that he worked hard to move beyond. The frightened little boy who didn't yet know how to separate his worth from his performance. In interviews, he has even joked that the episode is like his own personal haunted house, one he knows intimately but avoids entering, despite fans urging him to rewatch it and reminding him of the episode's critical acclaim. Howard kindly, but firmly, resists. He prefers to keep that chapter in the past, choosing instead to focus on the thousands of other memories. It's positive and transformative that shaped his journey from child actor to respected Hollywood elder statesman. In the end, Ron Howard's refusal to watch the 1960 episode is not an act of disdain or disconnection from his roots, but rather a deeply human gesture of self-preservation. It's a reminder that even the most successful artists carry with them formative moments of pain and vulnerability, and that true strength of Medes lies in knowing when to look back and when to simply move forward.